what we would do was blitzes and blocks. So not dodge fails, not go for it fails. Nothing that placed you prone in that sense. But things that knocked you over would count for the geysers. And that was quite fun. It did knock a couple of people off the pitch. It broke armor once or twice. But as that was me versus goblins, it was always going to be blood sport anyway. And I think it was more dangerous to my dwarves, who did get knocked over a few times and went flying all over the pitch. Though weirdly not very useful for a ball and chain to have people possibly doing that. No. And then in game 2, we had a frozen pitch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
+1 to everyone knocked over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guy I was playing was quite a focused player, let's use that term.
Sure.
And decided he would keep notes of every single time it did or didn't count on the armor. As he was coaching Norse and me dwarves, he was concerned that it was, that his AV7 dropping to AV6 effectively was going to be ruinous to him.
Well, it could be.
Definitely. And was it?
It actually hurt me more than him, according to his keeping track. Okay. It caused one dwarf to get injured that wouldn't have been. And all it seemed to do to him, because actually the weather changed at the half-time, which I think saved him. But in the first half, all it did to him was it turned one Yeti that would have been a prone into a stun.
Oh, okay.
But when I broke Norse, and when I didn't break them, I didn't break them.
Right.
So even when I hit with Mighty Blow and had the ground adding another +1, it really often wasn't enough.
Right.
But no, I got 2 wins and 2 draws, though that's done something quite interesting, which is one of the reasons I went back to coaching dwarves. Someone had pointed out to me that I was 4th in England, which is a rubbish place to be on the list of dwarf coaches.
Sure.
And due to 2 wins and 2 draws, I'm now 2nd on the list of dwarf coaches in England, which I think for 8 tournaments isn't that bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's put a statement out. A guy called Podfrey, who's a legend on the tabletop world and an incredibly good coach. I've seen him play. I think I've played him once.
Okay.
He is very, very good, and he has a lead on me that would take me, taking tournaments really seriously. But the sad news is the next 2 London ones I can't go to. I'm committed to other things. So I may well be done until sort of September-ish, unless I can find one near London that I like the look of.
Yeah, I haven't got time to go to any at the minute. I'm so busy. But I do think, I'll certainly be going to Strangle Bomb. But that's not until October. But then we've got...
If you want to have a look at the London Grand Tour,
I'll come over.
Stay at mine and go with me.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll always go with you.
A lovely place called the Mad Hatters something, or it's a specialist gaming place in a particularly cool part of North London.
Nice. Do I need to dress up as a hipster?
Yes, you probably do. You've got a beard, but it needs to be sort of a bit trendier looking.
Okay, so I'm growing my moustache out into curls.
Yeah, no, that would be ideal.
Is that all right?
Yeah, we'd fit right in. We'd obviously have to carry some form of expensive foreign lager that no one's heard of.
And I'm going to wear brogues with no socks.
Okay, I'll just make sure I've got suspenders that are joyful colours.
You mean trouser suspenders, don't you? Okay, just checking.
Well, possibly both, but only one type will be visible, I promise.
Okay. Right, so that's what else covered.
Yeah, I think they're great. Good luck, enjoy them. But I have to say, I thought there was nothing wrong with the last set of elves that were around. There's still plenty of those out there, and they cover elves beautifully, and they look great. But I think these new ones are fab. I'm sure they'll sell like hotcakes.
I'm sure they will. Right. I have got to talk about the prizes. So,
I feel like Jimmy Savile.
Whoa.
Only in that he gave lots of stuff away. I mean, obvious.
I'm too soon. Gave lots away. Is it too soon? Too soon. I don't think it's too soon, is it?
I don't know who it is, so you're not a fan.
Okay. So,
probably too soon.
The Bill Cosby of England.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Giving
much.
things away that people didn't want to receive, maybe.
Okay, how about I feel like Oprah? Everyone check under your seat. There's a prize for the Humble Podcast.
Yes.
Don't Google him.
No, he doesn't deserve that.
Thanks, Nat, for following. Appreciate that. So, in terms of the prizes, we've got 2 prizes to give away. We have got the Pete Nifton picture,
Yep.
And we've got the Nurgle pitch. And I'll be honest with you, I've been looking at the Nurgle pitch thinking, shall I just not give it away? But unfortunately, I can't do that. So, what we're going to do is we've both had all three of us have had a look, hopefully, just maybe what other Nurgle things have been going on. I've listed them in our little chat from the ones I know of. But which one stuck out for you?
For the Nurgle one first?
Yeah, let's do the Nurgle one first.
I like all of them. Let me go back up here because I want to be able to reference them right as we're... oh, geez, hang on. If I wasn't an idiot with computers. Okay. I liked the... Who was it that gave the first one about his Blitzer killing a Nurgle beast?
Let me just look for it. Mr. Kushti.
Oh, okay, sure. So
yeah, Mr. Kushti.
He tells a little, very sort of self-aware and humble story about a team that was very, very not winning a lot of games, and when they did finally win one, it was by throwing an uphill block at a Nurgle beast that killed it, and then picking the ball up, getting out of tentacles, and doing all this stuff, and then. Lost his next 10 games after that, but he that one game made him very, very happy, and that's very cool. Stowley's story about the Nurgle beast catching a scattered ball and then running into the
one dice blitzing out.
That's the one that caught my eye, I have to admit.
That's a good one.
I like that one.
My favorite one was still the one that popped into my head, as soon as we were talking about the idea. Because I watched that live in a major where Corian 8 beat Stone Troll's monster Nurgle team with down 1 million team value by getting a throw teammate defensive score on a blitz, which for that, if it's kind of hard for people to envision that, who hasn't actually seen that happen. So for that to happen, you have to kick the ball into the end zone. So it has to be a perfect kick. And then you have to roll a blitz on the kickoff, and then you have to throw the goblin on the blitz and run him down into their end zone so that when the ball is kicked, he catches it in their end zone.
With all that disturbing presence as well.
Yeah, which it actually bugs up the FUMBBL client because it's such a rare thing for that to happen.
Right.
That the client doesn't even know what really happened. And then also in that game, then Stone Troll answered with, I don't know if I've ever seen this either, which I probably have, but he was doing go for it. He had his player in the end zone, and he had to hand off to his own player. And he tripped on the go for it to get in handoff range, but the ball scattered to his own player anyway on turn 8, and so he still got the touchdown. Which is it's such a great Nuffle moment, right? Because the unluckiness of rolling the one on the go for it, but then the incredible luck of the ball scattering to your own guy in the end zone and him catching it for the game-tying touchdown. And then Quarian ends up winning in overtime with, like I said, like 1 million down, Chaos Pact over a huge monster, very feared Nurgle team. That was probably my favorite for that one.
Yeah. I think I'd like that one as well. What about you, PC? Was there any that...
Yeah, that definitely got my vote. It was the best story. I was hoping for something a bit more... I don't know what I was hoping for, but I think that's the one that really caught my eye.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was me. So I think we'll say Quarian 8, you are the winner. So, get in touch with me or Morehouse or PC and we'll get that prize to you. I know that Arrested Development received his Undead team, which is great. So, moving on to the Pete Nifton original, and also the FUMBBL Tabletop Tournament. So the premise of this competition was that we're looking at doing a FUMBBL Tabletop competition. It's going. Hopefully, we're going to get it NAF sanctioned. And what would we do to make it FUMBBL unique? Obviously, we talked about the boards being the right way around. But we had loads of different ideas, so many actually. I've got my favourites, but I can't remember who said it, so I'm going to try and find it. But what about you? Which one's caught your eye?
I'm scrolling up right at the minute. I have a clear winner to me because look, you and I have both been both been in charge of running tournaments, and we know, first of all, how incredibly difficult it is to explain even quite simple, complex concepts to people.
Yeah.
So that everyone can get it. And secondly, it has to be something that can actually be done. So some of these are wonderful, complex ideas that would be brilliant and run fabulous tournaments, but they're just not doable in a tabletop tournament. It won't get sanctioned by NAF, and hence I've completely ruled them out. But there's the I would love to do some things like have the final played on FUMBBL.
I thought that would be good fun.
Which I think is great, but I'm not sure that's the right way to go. But I'm going to take someone's idea and run from a seed of it, but I still think they should win because it's what made me think, yeah, that's the way to do it. And that's Dorpheus.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the first one to me that talked about two qualifiers, a light and a dark qualifier.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't know if NAF would sanction this, but what I would do is, if it's a one-day tournament with, say, 4 games, is I would split the first 2 into light and dark, like we do in the Ulthuan Invitational.
Okay.
I think that's quite a nice idea.
And then maybe the last 1 or 2 rounds, you drop that, so that in the final game, it's just anyone versus anyone with the best record. So I might make it 3 on each side, and then a final round that isn't.
So a 4-game day.
Yep.
Where you have 3 qualifiers and the top one from each side.
And then the final game, everyone plays.
Yeah.
Or you only have the final, a 4th game only played between the top of each. But because of the Swiss system, once you basically unify the 2 tournaments, it would mean that the top of the light and the top of the dark would play each other on the top table. And there's a good chance that unless it was a draw, the winner of that would win the championship.
I think that's a really good idea, and this links probably into my favourite idea, which was somebody, and I can't remember who it was, but I'll find it, was talking about a soundboard with the FUMBBL noises on it.
Yeah, that appealed too.
Yeah, I really like that.
That was my favorite idea. I think Soldier Ant had the one with the soundboard, but there were several people that had some version of getting the FUMBBL sound effects.
Yeah.
And actually, Dorpheus was another one of his ideas was to have spectators verbally making the
thing is, this is what I've been looking into. So, in terms of, we're formulating the FUMBBL tabletop tournament as we speak. I'm kind of getting a visual effect for it. So we do a 4-game day, right? First 3 games for everyone, and the championship game is just that 2-player, but everybody plays it. So they play it in the middle. It's televised. It's on the big screen, but everyone has on their phones a soundboard with the FUMBBL sounds on.
Sure.
So every time something happens, they can press the soundboard.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite funny. So they could be actually spectators. But yeah, I quite like that idea. The risk is, though, that final game.
To play a 4th game.
Yeah, I think they will as well.
Perhaps we just make it the 4th only for the tops of each, but.
Sure.
It's still. I do like the light and dark.
I think, to me, that's yeah.
So
doable. Might get sanctioned by NAF.
Yeah, I like the sounds a lot. I guess I would say that the best. Maybe can we
say it again, Morehouse? You disappeared.
Maybe Dorpheus had the best combination of ideas. Because he was one of the people. He was one of the people that had the sound ideas, and he also had the light and dark idea.
Yeah, so I think in terms of taking the ideas that are there and who has given us the basis that we could probably end up getting a sanctioned tournament built around the ideas from, I think Dorpheus is the winner to me.
Yep. Like I said, the sounds was probably my individual favorite idea, but several people had something like that, and he also had some other ideas that you guys liked. So I'm
and
cool
in terms of things to run with, we can have a look at the light and dark, and we can certainly have a look at some sounds, and then whether there's a unifying final, but certainly the idea of developing the 2 pools like we often do in a FUMBBL major.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's and that would work, and that would reflect FUMBBL. I think that would work. So it just needs a bit of thought behind it. Well, I'll get onto that. So Dorpheus, Well done. Thank you to everybody else that entered. And don't worry, because I've got 2 more giveaways. Can you believe that, PC? 2 more. 2 more.
We are Oprah.
We are, yeah. Or Ellen. Ellen, if you're modern. Sorry. Say that again.
We're bribing people to listen, and I'm absolutely
absolutely. We've got to get listeners somehow.
That's for sure.
So the 2 prizes are, drum roll, our new Halfling team.
Whoa!
From our sponsors, tritexgames.co.uk.
Squirrel, no doubt.
Yeah. So we've got a brand new Halfling team to give away, minus the tree. But that could be winging its way to you, or throw teammating its way to you. And I'll tell you what we're going to do in a minute with that. But also, Mark from, I presume, he's from Las Vegas, but he runs Sin City Bowl.
Okay.
And it's a tournament that is in Las Vegas. I'm just trying to find his message. So let's have a look. He's very kindly said that he would donate some Sin City Bowl stuff, which I think is quite nice. I think it's very nice. So let me look at the messages. I'm now Mark Perret. So he's got plenty of Sin City Bowl swag. So he's sponsoring an episode basically. It's in. I'm trying to see when it is. Oh, it's June the 21st. So Sin City 7s is June the 21st. Sin City Bowl 6 is June the 22nd. And the draft is June the 23rd. So, some really crazy rule pack. So, give it a look. I think there's a star player called Nabark and different claw people. Nabark, Perovic. Big hand, claws, dodge, horns, loner, piling on, sure hands, stunted 2 heads. Play for all of the teams.
We had an American that could tell us if that's culturally relevant to Americans.
Yeah.
Do you think from some American sport, Morehouse, is he?
What's that? I just got back. I was helping a client.
We're picking up an American tournament.
Sin City Bowl
stuff.
Okay.
In Nevada.
Las Vegas. Sin City is slang for Las Vegas, so I assume that's where it is. I have heard of that. I know that is a big, American tabletop thing. As much as American tabletop things are ever really that big, it's not quite like it is in England. It sounds like
such a big country to move around in. That's the problem.
Well, it's so difficult. You know what I mean? Just to give some perspective, if you take some of the top American players. Me and Bazakistine and Happy Grew and Azure have never met each other. We live thousands of miles away from each other. Whereas if you talk to you and Purple Jest and PW, and you guys all know each other, you've met, you know each other's children. You know what I mean? It's a very different thing.
The statistic I always remember. I mean, let's ignore Wales and Scotland because you should. If you just take England, England fits into the land area of Texas 14 times, and that's one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how big America is.
Right,
so to see Throek, I may complain about the distance because he lives in the Midlands, but that's like an hour and a half by car.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
This is you go for a good taco.
I take road trips to follow the Iowa football team, and the college football conferences are done geographically. So technically, they're supposed to be, it's the states that are bordering us and then the states that are bordering those states.
Right.
And we still were in the car, I think, 18 hours to get to Pennsylvania last year. So yeah, it's a big, wide country if you're going east to west, especially.
Now, Mark's in the Midlands, so he's in the middle.
I am in the middle.
Anywhere he drove 18 hours in a more or less straight line, he would be in the sea.
He'd be swimming,
yeah. He'd be, and in fact, in several directions, he'd be in Europe. He'd have gone through the sea and be out the other end.
Yeah. Well, and we're talking, Iowa's in the middle, so we're not talking all the way across America. We're saying from the middle to one coast is 18, 20 hours. So it's, you'd be, driving 40 hours to go from New York City to. But
still, there's lots of other reasons to go to Las Vegas. So if you want to go there and play some Bud Bowl, do. These guys sound nice because they're giving us stuff to give you. So that's always cool.
Yeah.
But they've got this star player with a name that Mark can't say, and I'm wondering if he's taken from some American sport.
Give me, if you don't think you can pronounce it, link it in the chat, and maybe if I
can't,
see the spelling,
it's on my phone.
maybe it'll make sense to me.
Okay, so here we go. It is... the pressure's on. The pressure's on. Nabark Perovic.
It's not ringing any bells.
It's like two people. It might be the people that created the...
That could be. It could be like an inside joke with tournament creators or something.
Yeah.
No, that's not ringing any bells for like famous Americans that I can think of. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like Babe Ruth.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's not Michael Jordan or something, as far as I can tell.
Cool. So to win these things, then, what we've got to do? I think now Sin City, Las Vegas, is the home of gambling and taking a risk and making you millions. So very, very simply, I am going to write down a number.
Decent Nick Cage films.
What's that?
And at least 2 decent Nick Cage films.
2 decent Nick Cage films.
There you
go. I am going to write down a number between 1 and 1,000 on our little Discord chat.
Right.
Okay.
And I need people to send me a message or a Discord message or on FUMBBL or however, carrier pigeon, smoke signals, between 1 and 1,000.
Little roulette. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's the one who's closest to it wins the Sin City stuff.
Oh, there you
shot
go.
each, is it?
Yeah,
Sorry?
One chance each.
One chance each. So all you need to do is drop me a message in the FUMBBL Podcast channel or PM me it privately if you don't want anyone else to see.
And if for some reason you desperately don't want to talk to him, you can always drop stuff to me or Morehouse.
There is that as well. There is that as well. And if 2 people, if 2 or more people are closest, so if there's a tie, we will have a tie-break situation, and it will be the first person who sent me that number. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So
Sure.
let's say if the number was 77, and Morehouse 77 today, and PC 77 tomorrow, Morehouse you would win.
Okay.
Excellent.
So if there's a draw, or if it's if both 2 people are 8 away, 1 higher, 1 lower, then it's whoever sent it first.
Correct.
That's fair.
That's clear.
Yeah, that's very clear.
That's everything we get from Sin City will go to whoever guesses that magic number.
Correct.
Okay.
So thank you, Mark, for helping us out with that. That was really kind of you. So the Halfling team from tritexgames.co.uk, our official sponsors, they have kindly donated that Halfling team, which we're going to give away. So what should we make people do for this? Any ideas?
Okay. Oh, okay.
I think, if you ask me, it should be what... Because we now know... I'm looking at the Halfling team again. I still don't like them. I still don't like that squirrel.
Go back to the wood.
Now that I know that 2 of them are supposed to be...
squirrel-related
By the way, we now know 2... Yeah, I think it should be. Now that we know that 2 are hefties, I guess the 2 slightly fat-looking ones that look identical because they haven't bothered to give them heads that are different enough to identify them.
Right, those are the hefties.
Well, those are clearly the hefties, and the 2 on one foot with a hand up are clearly supposed to be the catchers.
That's the
MO. You do get your 4 positionals now, which I guess makes a little more sense of them. But I still don't understand why one character has a squirrel on his head. And I speak as someone who, when I ran tournaments, used to put squirrel images in every single tournament post for people to find. I do love me a squirrel. Right. So what I think the competition should be is if there was a 3rd positional, which is a halfling with a squirrel on its head, what skill or stat line should distinguish?
Let's do that. That's nice. Yeah.
But they didn't give the squirrel halfling, the halfling with a squirrel on its head, anything. Not a hefty, not a catcher.
Nice.
What should it be?
Okay, I like that. That's a good one.
The one that amuses me or annoys me or just irks us, the 3 of us, obviously the most, will be the winner.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I like that one.
So how's that?
That sounds really good.
You can tell me what a halfling with a squirrel on its head should be in Blood Bowl.
There you go.
Fantastic. Well, my friends, that is us done, I think. Anybody else got anything to say?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple of things just briefly.
Yeah,
we're bringing other stuff in. The first is I want to talk about ARR, and I know my good friend.
What I was going to say to you, next episode we'll have a segment on it.
Brilliant.
So we can actually have a big chat about it.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so good. That's upcoming. We can advertise that. So anything you want to talk about on that, any questions you have about that, do let us know. We will do a big old section on it. Excellent. The second thing I wanted to talk about briefly is just a little, have a quick look at the Black Box Trophy, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are interested, some are not. I noticed on the Black Box page, particularly if you look at the trophy page now,
hang on,
whereas it was
let me get it up
two
for
people
want of a better phrase.
playing the trophy against each other. Nowadays, quite a lot of people, it's one side's in the trophy and one side is just playing Black Box.
Sure.
Black Box still continues to be nice and active.
Good.
On the Black Box page, we've now got a lot of coaches having done their 150. The big target still seems to be if you can get over 100, that seems a really, really good score. I'm very impressed by everyone that's managed to do that. And all the names up there, from Malmir to BB to F13, Vicious, Shavite, of course, is still up there. Prez, Tamitis, Doclistria, even Lautra Hammond. I think they've all done fantastically well to get up towards the 100 or over the 100. Lots of people falling just a tiny bit short. Nothing to be ashamed of there. That's probably where I'm going to end up, I think. Looking at my score, I might just make the 100, I might not. Okay. But lots of people getting the 150 done. And even some new names coming in. Some people that, I haven't seen around a lot, but have taken on the challenge of the Black Box. There's still 118 days left. So you'd be, if you started now, you'd have to play a game and a half a day, and you'd get it done in time.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's tightening up. Frustratingly, BB on 147 games played and on 120 points in second can still catch Malmir on 150 games played and 126.5.
It's close.
The maths is still there. If BB wins all three, that's 3 points. Gets 2 points for finishing the 2 unfinished races, that would be 5 points. And if he wins both games with his Pro Elves, he would equal the Pro Elf lead, currently held, I think, by Smallman, and take another 1.5 from that, which would give him the 6.5 points to take him equal with Malmir. So we don't know if BB plans to play those games. He was playing a whole series, and then he suddenly stopped. No one else has got up into the 100. Had a fantastic run, topped out at 119. Vicious is on 115.5, which is outstanding when you look at the races he plays. He's got 2 games left, and I think he deserves a huge shout-out.
Let's just have a little
read that he's probably going to finish in the top. And he coached Slan, Vampires, Flings, Goblins, and Ogres.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
And a recent major champion on FUMBBL with Vampires, too. So
yeah, absolutely. That guy can really coach the terrible races.
Yes. A lot of patience.
Let's give him humans, see what happens.
Well, you suspect he'd be quite good.
I
think that's why he challenges himself with things that really are.
Right.
And does fantastically well with them. So, if people ask me who is possibly the best player out there playing right now, I think his name would have to crop up.
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe even within his niche. I'm getting a helicopter overhead, so sorry if that's causing noise.
Don't worry.
But it's lots of people are really getting up there. Lots of people are into the hundreds pluses games now. And by lots, I mean sort of 50. So there's plenty of people that look like they're going to finish or get really near to finishing, and lots that have already.
Yeah, I'm on 69 games.
A few months ago.
So
do you plan to finish that up?
I'm trying to. I just haven't got the motivation. But now I'm going to start streaming FUMBBL.
18 game days, so that's less than a game a day. But you need to crack on if you're going to get.
Well, I'm going to now. I've started streaming a bit more.
Right.
I can stream some Black Box games. You see.
Sure.
So hopefully that will give me a bit of encouragement. One thing I did want to talk about is the grotty little newspaper is going to make a comeback.
Oh.
So if you don't know what the GLN is, it's a I want to say fan-based, user-based Blood Bowl online magazine, which is edited and put together and written by FUMBBL people. But it's a really good read, and there's a whole backlog of GLN articles on the site that you want to read back. Really funny stuff. So take a look at them as well.
Before there was a podcast that was sort of occasionally, I mean, it spurted in and out of life frequently during the time of FUMBBL. It often comes back to life, does 2 or 3 issues, and then whoever's editing it or whatever just realizes the enormous workload. And then it tends to go on hiatus, sometimes for a few months, sometimes for a few years. But it looks like there'll be another edition coming out. And yeah, the back issues are worth a read. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, definitely.
But as with a lot of these things, it's an archive that gets lost to newer players because it's hard to find some of this older stuff.
And it's MRT is the one who's doing it, who we've had on the podcast here and is a great guy. So I'm sure he'll do it.
Yeah, he appeared on the American Big One. That's the one.
Mr. T12.
Absolutely. Okay, my friends. It's time for us to go. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for joining us if you did on our first ever live streamy weemy thing. Hope it worked, sort of. I'll have a little playback. We'll see what we can do to improve it if we need to. But from me and the others, see you later. I'll say goodbye for you then. Sorry.
Yeah, well, briefly, you cut out. So, yeah, goodbye.
I got to enter the door real quick, 1 second. Yes, and goodbye from Morehouse. Thanks for listening.
Hang on. Say your goodbyes again.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for being here.
I'll just cut them out at the end, so don't worry about it. Right. That was good fun. It was weird doing it live. Yeah.
I wonder if that's why. Hang on. There's something just been annoying me, and I think I know why. It's because my display settings, I'm constantly gimping. What if I dropped to that? That would have been better. Because the problem is, once the call pops up, it dominates half of my screen.
Oh, okay.
And then I really struggle to read some of the stuff we put in the chat sometimes, particularly with the display settings. I have to have it on to actually play. But if I drop down to something like more reasonable, then I actually get readable text in the box beneath the call.
Got you.
Cool. Well, I thought that was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's going to take more editing than usual, but that's okay.
Sure.
I quite like doing it live though, because hopefully when we get a few more people involved.
Well, we sort of do it live. I mean, it's not like you edit masses out each time.
No, it's not. No, but I will this time. Just because there was a few more pauses and stuff. And it's just that first bit. Me and Morehouse were just talking crap.
Yeah.
But that was nice crap, and I think everybody listening. Hello, everybody, because I haven't stopped streaming yet. We're still streaming.
Well, I mean, yes. So
because
this is like the after hours bit that they sometimes do on YouTube. Bill Meyer does that.
This is when I start smoking my pipe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think before you got on,
this is where we actually say that Mr. T12 was a cunt. I'm just joking.
Never be promoting him. Yeah. I think it's a good idea for people to be able to ask us questions while or give us corrections, or if we, there's times where like we don't know something and someone could chime in, hey, it's this, and make us look smart, but I don't know, will it get too distracting if there's too many people in there talking and we're trying to look at them and think about what we're talking about? I don't know, but we can certainly mess around with it and try.
I definitely didn't have that problem in that I didn't.
No, we only had 5 or 6 people in there this time.
Then I did try to pull the Twitch up as we were doing it, and I seemed to be on the Twitch page, but I didn't see any chat. I saw one comment by Mark.
There were probably 10 total comments the entire time by 3 or 4 different people.
Yeah,
so
there wasn't loads. But hopefully that'll pick up. So I'm going to stop the stream now. Thank you guys. If you've been watching on stream and listening on stream, really appreciate it. But we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Or you weirdos stop stalking us. One or the other.
Later.
Yeah, see you.